All right, people. First of all, Lisa Davidson, what are you doing? What are you doing? The game's over. They found out. They know. They're throwing my case out. And what are you doing? Somehow she doesn't get arrested for this, but she runs straight to try and get some dude to hack into some database to try and change my date of birth so they can still keep using an ID or some shit or take it, trick it, slide it over to some other account they got. And she's trying to arrange some weird full moon fucking seance crazy shit using like cemetery dirt and all this crazy shit. She's lining that up. So you let this crazy bitch out, and then you don't prosecute her, right? Even though she didn't have jurisdiction, so therefore she does not have uh, quantitative immunity, right? And she's tried attempted murder multiple times, all kind of playing with dead bodies and shit. Like, there's plenty of crimes you could charge her with, but she hasn't been charged, and I'm still on probation. I'm still on probation from her bullshit rulings that she admitted to, and everybody knows. And not only that, the judges have known for weeks. So why am I still on probation and she's free running around actively trying to fuck with me? Lisa Davidson, you better knock it off, you stupid raggedy cunt, because I'm going to be off today and I'm going to find you. So you have three choices, Lisa. Kill yourself, which would probably be the best because you're fucked. Right? Secondly, turn yourself in and just confess and hope they have mercy on your ass, but they won't because you're not. This proves by what you're doing today that you have no remorse whatsoever. You're only mad that you don't have any more money and you can't suck my energy. Which how are you going to suck my energy? You fucking cobweb cunt bitch, right? And the third choice is wait for me to find you. Wait for me to find you. Yeah, that's your third choice. I can't elaborate because I don't want to go to prison for 50 fucking years in Brevard County on some bullshit charge. So you could just wait for me to find you, kill yourself, turn yourself in. Let's see what you do. You're going to run around chief trying to hide and get people to do shit. And they're all laughing at you. And what you don't understand, Lisa, this is what you don't understand. This is what none of you stupid Mason and all these dumb motherfuckers understand. When you do this shit to a divinely protected person, which I am, okay? And you knew that because you brought in a fucking high priest Mason motherfucker and he told you, don't fuck with me. And you go, and you went and did it anyway. And it backfired, right? But no, you're especially stupid and stubborn, right? So you're gonna keep trying, even though everybody fucking knows and they're watching you. You just keep doing it. Like, what the fuck, right? And then so you did some dumb shit, right? You can't hurt me. Like, what are you doing? The game is up, bitch. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. You're under investigation. They're looking at all your old cases. Everybody knows. Stop. What's wrong with you, bitch? You raggedy fucking bitch. Knock it off, lady. You're dumb. You think you're smart and slick. You're not. You're dumb. You're dumb as fuck. And that's why you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison. Right? And here's the funny part. I'm going to grant you longevity. You know what that is? So before the flood, people, people always ask this, like, why in the old days in the Bible they lived to like 750 years, 900 years? Well, they had longevity. And what happened was, and you can look this up in the Sumerian tablets, when the Anunnaki, who the Sumerians say made them, right, in amazing detail, like describe the DNA changes that they did to make us, which is true. Like, right? I'll do a quick little side tangent if you think I'm crazy. In the Sumerian tablet, they tell the story that the Anunnaki had been here. They're, these gods from the sky, and they created humans to be a labor force, dig for gold. And that's what they did, right? Because the gods were tired of doing the work. So they made humans, right? And they used spliced in some of their DNA. Well, interestingly, there's two very interesting things in the human genome. Okay. Primates have 24 pairs of chromosomes in their sexual chromosomes. So if the humans have 23, right? So we can't breed with primates. And the reason why we have 23, though, is a little strange. The 23rd and the 24th got merged together, right? And It doesn't fit the normal, typical of any other known genome sequence of the millions of other genome sequences they have. It doesn't match the same pattern. So it looks like it was cut and edited in there, right? Like, wait a minute. That's the key difference, right? And then there's this other thing where there's a 223 chromosome snippet just wedged in. And again, there's nothing else like it in any other genome. So we have the two anomalies in the entire known genome world are in the human DNA, and that's exactly what the Sumerians said they did. But that's just a coincidence. And what's funny is the guy that translated it that way was Sitchin, right? Zakari Sitchin. And mainstream Assyriologists or whatever the fuck they are say, oh, he's crazy. I'm like, no, that's exactly right. The modern medicine snake thing, that was their idea, and they did that based on DNA. How did the Sumerians know about that? And the other weird thing about Samaria is it just appeared. Like these cities just appeared perfectly formed. Like they already had a government and laws and math, and they knew about agriculture and irrigation. They knew their astronomy was off the charts. They got maps of 47 other solar systems that have planets in the life zone. How the fuck, right? And then the funniest one is they claim that Anunnaki are from this planet Nibiru. They claim that it's on this huge elliptical orbit that takes 3,600 years. And at the one end of the orbit of the elliptical, it actually basically intersects our outer solar system. And so scientists were like, well, that's stupid because we know there's nothing out there. There'd be a gravitational pull. Well, guess what? In 2019, I think it was Caltech scientists were like, hey, there's some huge object, probably like a pretty big planet, that must be on this crazy, slow, like 3,600 year orbit that comes around because it's pulling on Neptune and Uranus, right? And you're like, oh. So basically, everything the Sumerian tablets say, if you take the Sitchin interpretation, is exactly right. Exactly right. And like creepy, like, wait a second, how the fuck would they know that? And we're just figuring it out now? Like, but we dismissed it to get it as a joke. So anyway, in that tablet, when when the Anunnaki wanted to reset, they wanted to kill everybody. Basically, they didn't want to deal with humans, and they reset. They've done that many times in their past. They made the dinosaurs trying to make basically giant caterpillar tractors, and it never worked out because they could never get these things to do anything, and they never got intelligent. And they were useless. So they were the ones that launched the comet and blew them up, right? For the flood, they used another comet that was full of ice, and they blasted that bitch down here and flooded us, right? And they had the original Noah story. It was like 2,000 years before Noah, and they called it Gilgamesh. I think no, Gilgamesh is another story, but they had a story, and I forget the name, and it was the same story. There's a flood, the gods ran, and one of the Anunnaki wasn't supposed to, but he kind of spilled the beans to a dude, told him to make a boat and what to do, and the guy did, and civilization survived. But when the Anunnaki were leaving before the flood, right, they disabled was the word, disabled 7 functions built into humans, and they specifically used the word disabled, which matched other places, other tablets where they used that word. But particularly, there's like an irrigation system they had, and they would disable valves, and they use that same word. It's like the only other place. So like, okay, so they disabled human function, and one of them is, and they're weird. Like I don't remember all of them, but one of them was direct communication to the gods. You can't communicate to the god anymore, right? Um, one of them is the ability to remember dreams before 3, or to have any memory before 3. Humans can't remember 3 and under. We're the only primate that can't, right? And the reason why is that's your first 3 years are when memories from your ancestors, your DNA come through, and they don't want you to remember. You get it? Basically, anything that would like allow us to grow at a rapid rate with them not around, so they can control us. But the first one they got rid of is called longevity. Longevity. And after the Bible, they were like, you can only max out at 120 years. And they know today on our DNA, there's this weird thing, this little ticker that like starts. It has like a tick countdown ticker on it, and it'll only go the maximum number. They realize it only goes to 120, and they're like, why is that? Why do we have that? Right? It's finding like all the stuff in our like. That's why of our brain, 90% of it doesn't work because they turned it off. Did you know we used to have a second vocal cord? It was a 4 centimeter diameter tube with two muscles on the outside that kind of sounded, I guess, like a didgeridoo, like, and you could do it real loud, like, and if they got like 15, 20 people line up, it would levitate megalithic rocks, and that's how they transported it. And I was like, how do they transport the Stonehenge? They just walk along. That's why they got rid of it because they were scared of what I think a group came and like lifted some big monolithic rock and like chucked it at one of the Anunnaki and fucked his ass up. So they took it away. So, but it took away the longevity. Well, guess what I discovered? Just you know, I was perhaps under the influence of a hallucinogen, um, but I discovered by accident, totally by accident one day, um, this that the body heals itself. It has a built-in, very, very advanced system to completely fix itself. And I mean everything. Like it's like look, I was bald, like shiny nose, nothing, not even 3 weeks ago. And I haven't had any surgery. I don't use any products. I don't go anywhere. I haven't done shit. It's coming back in. You know what I mean? And it even does that. It'll fix your teeth. It's the cause of all the tooth problems. You know what I mean? I don't know what they're telling you, but it's nerves, loose nerves. Your arthritis is loose nerves. It's all nerves, and you can adjust everything. You adjust everything back to like day one, and that's why when I think people have been seeing posts and stuff about me. They're saying you heal and you transfer. Well, that's what I did, and in doing such, like I just kept noticing it was intelligent, and it was like you can't hurt your. It won't let you hurt yourself. If it's going to do something really serious, like adjust your head on your spine and it pops, it makes you like slow down and stop and get very, and then it does it very gently and it fixes it, and you're like, oh, and it has like there's places where there's buttons, and it has like built-in routines that like adjust your posture and things like that. What? I mean, it's unbelievable. Well, guess what? We're all going to get that. That's what I'm here for. Teach the world how to do this. Because when you get one, you get the other seven. The other six. You know what I mean? So, um, and in doing this, just so everybody knows, I'm gonna fill you in on a little secret. It requires you to rebuild your body to get your skeleton in the right structural position and form like in order to adjust your pineal gland. And what it does is it decalcifies it, and then it does like a wiring. Because right now the pineal gland is only doing the melatonin thing, right, and but it's supposed to make DMT, right, just for a different perception of reality, right, and it's we know it makes 5-MeO DMT, which is like the best shit, right, but we don't have that. It's done. It's just calcified sitting there. This cracked it open, adjust you because the skeleton has to be right because it's like a very advanced antenna. The human body is like this incredibly advanced machine. Like you wouldn't believe what it can do. Like we don't even we're not even on the right trail right now. Like I watch, I'm like, and so it does that, and then it creates a structure. I don't know if you guys can see. Let me get up here. See how it's rebuilding these lines, and it's making my nose from going in to pop back out, like, and it's going up, right? And look, there's a giant oval here that my hair won't even go around it. and the gland's right in there, and it's about to park down on top. It's this close. Get it? Like it's coming down. This is straight. Like, God damn it, I don't know. This is backwards. It's straightening these fucking lines out. It's twisting them a little bit, and then pulling that down, and it's gonna sit. But this has already been wired, right? You gotta have the wiring, right? It basically did like a 10-minute brain surgery on me. It made me kneel down, lay flat with my forehead on the ground, holding this my head, and it did the wiring. I was like, what? But so I already have a lot of things. Like I'm a compass. I can, and it's even beyond that. Like I can say, like, where's Jim? I can go outside, stand, right, and it'll balance me. It'll give me perfect posture. And I say, okay, where's Jim? And it'll go like, mm. You go like, and it'll like follow him. Like, you're like, what the fuck? And so anyway, the point is, my job is to show everybody how to do this because I haven't popped it out because I didn't want to look like a freak walking around with this thing sticking down my fucking head. But it's right there. You know what I mean? It's ready to go. So, um, and they know. Think about that for a minute. One of the Anunnaki tablets talked about this. It says, like, I forget what the subject was of the tablet, but the second condition they had on there was if somebody were to hack into this, one of these 7 traits, and be able to connect the dots to the Anunnaki, that was something they were not cool with. I was like, so that's another thing. I'm not sure if I want to do it because it might trigger Armageddon or some crazy shit, right? So, um, but that's another story. The point is, I'm going to give Lisa Davidson longevity because she's going to get a life sentence. So she's going to live to be fucking 700 something years old. And I think what happens is there's going to be a mass event because that's what I keep getting these weird messages that are like, there's going to be a mass event where we all get enlightened at the same time. And I think that's after Judgment Day, right? We're going to have a group mass enlightenment. And the point of me explaining this to you isn't to sound kooky or whatever. It's to, I'm just trying to say that you can't possibly, you cannot possibly meditate or listen to a fucking frequency and activate your pineal gland. It requires physical construction, and it requires it from this system, and they know that. And I'm the first person since the flood that has an active third eye right now. It's not perfect because it's not poking out, but it does all the receiving things. Like I can do the direct communication, and I can do one of the things is to be able to transfer psychically to another human complete concepts instantly, like the Matrix. You get it? So basically, everything that would have allowed us to like progress at a rapid clip, they turned off, and that's why our brains just sit. But let me tell you, you turn that bitch on, it gets real, dude. I mean, it's the problem is you just emit a glow, and you're running it now at a different frequency than everybody else, and it attracts all these freaking haters and all these demons and all these negative ass people, and they just want to take you down because they can't even figure out why. Like, why do I care? Well, because you don't have a fucking third eye, you sucker, and you don't get one. You don't start acting right. I hate to tell everybody, the reason why this cult couldn't hurt me is because I'm protected by God, right, Himself, and He put me in this place. And what's funny is I had no clue these motherfuckers were even doing anything. They think I'm like some fucking evil warlock or super powerful, or whatever. And they bringing in high priests and all that shit from the Masons, and they're selling their soul to the devil. And the devil came and ran when he saw I was protected by God, and now is hunting them down and killing. There's 2 in custody right now that are spilling the beans on everybody else. There's 3 others that have been arrested. I think my sister's in custody. She tried to OD. My ex-wife is on the run, and then they got Lisa Davidson out there trying to fucking do spells and change databases and shit. Retarded, like it's just retarded. And I didn't even know shit was going. I didn't even know. But and when I started doing all this shit, I didn't know about the Anunnaki either. I was just like, whoa, I swear that's fucking picking me, right? And it did. And the crazy thing about doing that was everything that came to me while I was doing it, like, hey, I wonder if it came true. Everything, the hair, all that shit. I was like, huh. Your mouth can adjust and do every tooth, adjust the the tension between them, right? And you can adjust the jaw, like left, right, up, down. You can adjust it. That's how you can get your bite right, and it'll do it automatically for you. Do it perfect. You're like, what? My problem is I have two flaws in my body, right? Two flaws, right here and right over here. When they did the frickin' back in the day when they did the wisdom tooth, they had to do root canals, and he used these titanium posts, which are what you're, the good ones. But he nailed a nerve on each side, and it's pinned, and they won't come out. And let me tell you, your body does not want nerves cut. So when you get surgery, you're cutting all these nerves, but the brain does not like that because those are directly linked to your brain. What we don't even realize is the brain is like an octopus with 4 million freaking tentacles, but each tentacle only has one little suction thing on the end. But it's insane, and they wiggle like, and it wants them back. You get it? Like it doesn't want you to cut them. And I'm telling you, people aren't going to like me because you're not going to need Advil, aspirin. You don't need arthritis medicine. You don't need anything but toothpaste, right, and floss, right. You won't have to go to a dentist. It moves your teeth. It actually pulls your teeth out. It spins it around and stuff just off one root of the molar, and it'll spin it around, and you're like, what? You could pull your tooth in without bleeding. Like literally, like I'm like, are you shitting me? It's that good. The only thing, and it even fixes your skin because we don't realize we just when we go through life, we go through physical trauma, right? That could be all kind of stuff. It could be a car accident, or it could just be playing football or your job or whatever. You know what I mean? Day after day after day after day after day after day. And what happens with trauma is things get jostled. And the body has like a little shock system, and it kind of lets it just kind of flop to keep it intact, and then figure out how to deal with it when it's done, right? But what happens is a lot of times these nerves get pulled, and they get pinched, like a muscle might collapse on the nerve while it's falling, and catch it, and then I can't get out, right? They might get stuck in your little cracks of your joints on your fingers and stuff, right? You know what I mean? And what happens is it'll get caught somehow. And then over time, more get caught on that one because they can't get by, right? What happens is they heat up and they get a little harder. And when multiple ones, because they're based on electricity, like really incredibly accurate amounts of minute electricity. And when they all start building up, it's like they're in series. So you get like 20 or 30 of these things. Now all of a sudden, it starts to hurt. It's blowing. And that's what arthritis is. They get stuck in your joints and they act like a shim. Like they wedge in there and then 20 more come along. And now it's like prying your joint apart and it's all hot. So now your joint doesn't bend right, and it's hot and it hurts. Guess what? You can get rid of it. You can clear it right out. Get rid of all those nerves. Get your hands perfect again. So I'm not going to be a popular person. Plus, if you're restoring all these loose nerves back to the brain, think about it. If you're getting jostled and say some nerves pop off of a organ or gland, and that nerve or nerves, like two or three of them, are specifically to release some enzyme in a very precise amount at a specific time, but they're gone now. And so now your pituitary doesn't have these. And whatever it's making, like the growth hormone, isn't going to work. And that's what happens. We slowly, and our muscles get twisted up, but it's amazing how resilient we are. But it just slowly, and think about it. If the nerves are stuck, those are supposed to be your brain. So now your brain's not getting the signals. So you went from 100, you're 10%, the 100% of the 10%, it slowly erodes over time, and that's what you see aging. And that's what causes disease. They're not firing the right enzymes at the right time. And so, if you keep your nerves in place, you clean all that up. Guess what? You're going to live a long time. You're going to have perfect skeletal frame. Your joints will be perfect. Like you literally feel like you're fucking 15. You know what I mean? Like people notice. They're like, dude, you can melt fat off, like melt it literally, like large amounts. You can remove. It's rather interesting, and I'll get into all that. I promise you. But Lisa Davidson, what the fuck are you doing? You're gonna wind up doing. You're gonna be the first person that does 600 plus years in prison. I'm just telling you. You think you're slick? I'm slicker.